right, boys and girls, welcome aboard for week 15. And we've already had a bunch of fun. We got 4 games already in the books, and we got several more today. We'll be taking a look at those games, including the biggest comeback in NFL regular season history. And we'll also look at today's plate on today's episode of NFL Pregame Party. All right, welcome aboard, boys and girls. I'm your host, Joe's Atmosphere. It's good to see you this fine Sunday morning of week 15 in the NFL. And as usual, I got my co-pilot, the Nockster. What's going on this morning, brother? How you doing?
Hello, how's it going? Yeah, no, it's good. A lot of football this weekend. Every day until the rest of the year, and including a couple of days into next year, is football. Every single day. Love it.
Yeah,
Best time of the year.
you know it, man. We got college bowl games and all that stuff, and all these games need some extra help. So we got the best backup quarterback in the league, Matt from Small Time Republic. What's going on, Big Daddy?
Doing good. Just call me Steve Young, right?
That's it, man. The best backup ever. That's it. Are you a lefty?
I'm not, but
okay.
He may be the greatest backup ever.
Would you rather be Steve Young or Aaron Rodgers?
Oof. I guess Young, just because Rodgers is kind of a head case.
He is kind of a head case. Young at least has a. Didn't he go to Harvard? No,
Stanford, BYU,
right? Yep. BYU. That's it. I know he's a lawyer. I know he's smart. He's a smart cookie. Okay, well, boys and girls, I did not get to see any of the football yesterday. So I'm going to count on these guys to fill me in, including that crazy-ass game between the friggin' Colts and the Minnesota Vikings. But first, we got to do the scouting report. And from what Noc tells me, he's got some stuff to tell us about that, man. So I'm going to throw this up and let you take it away, bro.
Yeah, we started out on Friday as far as bowls go. We'll have to go back for the Thursday night game as well. Unfortunately, sorry.
Oh, it's okay. I knew it was coming. Look, all my friends picked my Seahawks. I'm like, what are you freaking high?
Nope, I picked the 49ers. Yeah. No, but yeah, it started Friday in the I think this one started at 11 o'clock. I think it was the UAB or Miami, Ohio versus UAB. UAB, in case you didn't know, that's where Trent Dilfer is going to be coaching.
Really?
Yes, he will be coaching. He was on the sideline showing off his ring to cheerleaders.
Don't be doing that, Trent.
Oh, they had pictures of it, so yeah, they're
it's out there.
His ring that almost any quarterback could have won that year for the Ravens.
yeah. If they just stood in the
no doubt, Purdy could have won that one, couldn't he?
Yeah, right. But no, it was a pretty good game, pretty decent game. UAB scored late to take that one. That was the hometown Lenders Bahamas Bowl. They were like 2 miles away from the beach, so nice weather there. Then later on in the day, I think it started at 3 o'clock. Was the Duluth Trading Cure Bowl between UTSA and Troy. A lot of turnovers in this one. But Troy pulled it out.
The University of Texas at San Antonio? Is that what I'm seeing?
Something like that. Yeah. Both had really great seasons, 10-2. And they both won their conference. So it was actually a pretty good matchup right there. But they said Troy managed to pull it out. So that was the Friday games. And then going into the Saturday games, a couple blowouts. not much to talk about for some of these games. Oregon State over Florida in the SRS Distribution Las Vegas Bowl, 30-3. So unfortunately,
Wow.
now Richardson, their QB for Florida, he wanted to go in the draft, so they were kind of using a backup in that one. So,
yep. And another one of their quarterbacks, Kitna, he'd been dismissed from the team. So
Kitna, he's not related, is he?
Yes, John Kitna's son. Yep.
No kidding.
Ooh. I wondered about that. I didn't look it up though. I did hear that about Kitna. I just didn't know what.
At one time, the greatest backup quarterback in the NFL.
So I don't know if this guy was second or third.
The 10-6 Lions, I think, was that Kitna?
I believe he was. I believe he was the quarterback of the team. But the thing I remember him most for, he is the guy that in his rookie season, he was the last guy to lose to Dan Marino in a playoff game. He was the quarterback of the Seahawks before we made the jump to the NFC. And Dan Marino got his last playoff victory, as he always did every Sunday. No time left in the game, taking the Dolphins down the last 2 minutes and winning in the Kingdome on the road. And then he promptly got his ass handed to him the next week in Jacksonville at the hands of Mark Brunell and the Jacksonville Jaguars. They kicked the crap out of him, sent him into retirement.
Yeah, I remember he didn't go out the way he wanted to.
No, he didn't. Yeah. But John Kitna, the rookie, is the guy that was playing against him in his last victory. So,
and I think Kitna had some good starts with the Bengals, if I remember right.
The Bengals, the Cowboys, when he was an old man, he stepped off the bench and led them to a few victories. He had a good career. John was a smart guy. Now that guy, if I remember correctly, he went to MIT. He's a brainiac. He's one of the mathematicians, man. But I always loved. I've got his jersey. He's one of the several Seahawks jerseys I have as a kid.
Listen, the smartest football guy for me will always be Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah. Ryan Fitzpatrick is a brainiac too.
He fleece?
Yeah. How many teams has he played for, right? Is there also, a team he hasn't played for?
And they paid him.
I think he's a Harvard grad.
Yeah, right.
He is. Mm-hmm.
But by the way, Friday was a good day for the state of Alabama between Troy and UAB. Both teams from the state of Alabama. So just want to give them a shout out.
There you go. All right, Noc. Sorry to go off on that tangent.
Oh, good.
You start talking about a Seahawk, I'm gonna start talking, man.
Yeah. Another one, the Wasabi Fenway Bowl. I looked at the history of the Fenway Bowl. Playing at good old Fenway. That was fun to watch. But the game itself was kind of whatever. Cincinnati's head coach is going to Louisville, I think. Is that right, Matt?
The Louisville coach is going to Cincinnati.
Oh, okay. It was one way or the other. But
but both schools had an interim. Yeah.
But where did Cincinnati's head coach go to? He went to
Wisconsin.
Yep. Wisconsin, that's right. Okay, yeah.
And you had Deion Branch coaching Cincinnati.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. Yeah. But the game 24-7, Louisville over Cincinnati. So not much offense in the way for Cincinnati. And then there was Fresno State and Washington State. This is Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl.
Oh God!
Yeah, he was there.
Please tell me it was a tie with as many injuries as possible with the name of that bowl game. Yikes!
No, it wasn't a great game because Washington didn't really show up, but Fresno State is a really good team. They won 29-6 in that one. There was Rice and Southern Miss. I'm going to skip that one for now because I'm going to discuss that one last. I got a little highlight for that.
By the way, Jimmy Kimmel, he played in the forget which one of the two bands at halftime. Walking out there, like an idiot with a saxophone or whatever instrument he was playing.
Oh,
yeah. Yes. Sounds typical.
SMU and BYU. This was a really fun game. As the dogs start barking behind me, awesome. New Mexico Bowl was a really fun game. BYU went up a little bit, and then SMU stormed back. But this was one of those games. I didn't do any highlights for this one, but the SMU scored with about, I don't know, it was like 8 seconds to go or something like that. And instead of going for the tie to go to overtime, they went for the win. And, they didn't get it.
And they didn't get it.
So they didn't want to go to overtime, so they kind of ended it on their terms. So it was a good game.
Hang on just a second. It was in a comeback, right? They were trying to come back and win the game.
Oh, they were. I think they were down 2 scores, and then they came back with plenty of time to go, kind of deal. But
I can kind of understand that one. I can kind of understand that one, trying to go for the win because they're afraid they're not going to be able to stop them in overtime. I can see that.
Yep. And then to end Saturday night, as far as all the bowl games, the last game of the night was the North Texas at Boise State for the Frisco Bowl. 10-6 going into halftime, and then 5 straight touchdowns in the third quarter for both teams. And then North Texas throws a pick, and Broncos go down and score again to go at 35. And then Texas came back and scored to get within 3, and then they couldn't finish out the game. So Boise State is the winner of the Frisco Bowl. I was glad to see that.
Making Noc a happy camper. That's his team.
Yeah, that was good. North Texas
Kirk boys
in
won
their conference, and so was Boise. So both teams lost in their respective or second place in their conferences. And then there were a couple other games before I go to the Southern Miss.
By the way, North Texas, they won their division in their conference. Didn't win then lost as soon as they lost the conference championship game. Their coach gets axed. So
really,
yep.
So they went into the bowl game without a coach. I mean,
with an
interim. Oh man, wow, that's got to suck for the guys. Wow.
Just a quick FCS. The semifinals were this weekend. Incarnate Ward at North Dakota State. It was a big game. North Dakota State pulled out the win, 35-32. Montana State at South Dakota State. The Jackrabbits. I love that team. I don't know what it is. The Jackrabbits.
What a great mascot.
They pulled out the win. So it'll be South Dakota State and North Dakota State. I think they did it last year. Is that, you know anything about that, Matt? Was that the same team that did it last year? I know one of them was in it.
I know both have been good in recent years.
Yeah.
North Dakota State's been good for like 10 or 12 years. And then
I remember seeing highlights of South Dakota in last year's playoffs, but I don't think they made it.
College game day went to South Dakota State and North Dakota State at different times.
Yeah, so they'll play January 8th for the FCS championship game. The last for FCS is Deion Sanders. His last game with Jackson State before he goes over to Colorado was spoiled by North Carolina Central. In overtime. Yeah. Jackson State scored right before the end of the game to tie it up. They went into overtime. North Carolina had it first. They scored, and then Jackson State went 4 and out. Right, they might have gotten the first down, but they got on the goal line and couldn't punch it in. Couldn't get a touchdown, and that was it in overtime. So his last game with Jackson State was spoiled.
I hate it for him. I love Deion.
As much as I'm not a Deion fan, but as much as I'm not a fan of his, I will give him credit for sticking around to coaching that game. Both he and his son.
Yeah,
because the quarterback's going with him. Yep.
So the last game I want to discuss was the Southern Miss and Rice, and the reason I like this because I've watched all these games, and there were some really good ones, but this one was fun to watch because this featured Frank Gore Jr. And we all know who Frank Gore is, one of the best running backs,
one of the best to ever do it,
longest lasting
for a long time,
productive.
Yeah.
His son was in this, Frank Gore Jr., and he ran for 329 yards.
Whoa,
it was insane.
That is nuts.
This is one high. This was near the now before this one in the series before. Frank Gore Jr. actually fumbled the ball and they lost it. But their defense held up and they got the ball back. And this is what you do when you come back in from a fumble. He was there. And this is a right here. This is Frank Gore and Frank Gore Jr. This is a couple years old, but you can look. They look exactly the same.
Yeah, they do. They got the same underbite and everything, man.
I think you see now Frank Gore Jr. is a little. He looked a little bit more faster, than the old man. But no, what a great day for them. So Southern Miss took that one over Rice. Rice did make it because of their academic. They were 5-7, but because of their academic prowess, they had made it to a bowl game. So
to look at that picture, I'm thinking Frank Gore Jr. may be from Camino. I think he could be a clone. Just
I like that Star Wars reference. It's good.
Of course, man.
Yeah. So yeah, just the last thing for college. Monday we got the Myrtle Beach Bowl, Marshall and UConn. I think UConn this is their first bowl game in a while. There, Matt. I think they've had a.
They've been down. Yeah,
Jim
Moore
Jr.
Jr.
So this is very good for them.
I know,
Tuesday,
one of Joe's guys, Jim Moore Jr.
You know it, man.
UConn.
Love
Yeah.
Jim Moore Jr. Love him. I do.
On Tuesday, we
right.
got the famous Idaho Potato Bowl, Eastern Michigan and San Jose State. We got the roofclaim.com Boca Raton Bowl, Liberty at Toledo. Then Wednesday, we got Western Kentucky and South Alabama in the New Orleans Bowl. Then Thursday, we have the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl. That's Baylor at Air Force. And then we'll just wrap it up with Friday or I'll do Friday and Saturday with Louisiana at Houston. Radiance Technologies.
The Raging Cajuns. What's up?
Yeah, and then we have the Union Home Mortgage Gasparilla Bowl with Wake Forest and Missouri. And then finally on Saturday, we have the Middle Tennessee at San Diego State for the Easy Post Hawaii Bowl. So that's what's coming up this week for the bowl games.
Okay, cool. And Sunday, of course, is the NFL, and we'll get back on the bowl watch on Monday. Now, before we get out of the college part, I would like you guys' thoughts. I don't watch college football as much, but they lost a very well-liked coach by many people in those circles. Mike Leach died this week. I wanted to know what you guys thought. We'll start with Matt, and tell me what you think of that guy's legacy and what he leaves us behind.
Well, the guy was, one of the best characters ever to be a head coach in college football in terms of just an interesting interview, an interesting guy to see at a press conference.
Mm-hmm.
He had several different degrees. He got his undergrad at BYU, which I think he got that around the time that like Steve Young or Jim McMahon were there, somewhere in that same time period, because he was 61, so that would match up.
Mm-hmm.
And he then got his law degree, I believe, from Yale.
Okay.
But then after that, this is when he was in his late 20s, he got a degree from the U.S. Sports Academy, which is right near where I live. So
okay.
So I guess a little bit of a tangential connection there.
Mm-hmm.
And he then, he took a lot of programs that typically don't win.
Mm-hmm.
Texas Tech, Washington State, Mississippi State, and he won there.
Mm-hmm.
And he was also the offensive coordinator for Oklahoma.
Yep.
Back when they had Josh Heupel.
Mm-hmm.
So he had quite a career. I think overall in his life, he lived in a lot of different places, even outside of when he was coaching.
He never coached in the pros, though, did he?
No, I don't believe he ever coached.
He stuck with what he knew. He stuck with college football. I think that's what he loved, right?
Yeah. But he basically, used the there's like a Sun Tzu quote, the Art of War author, who talked about basically how to use whatever resources you can, to overcome a foe that maybe has more firepower.
Right.
And with his spread offense, chunking the ball around, that was the equalizer.
Yeah.
And when he was he worked under Hal Mumme when they were both at Valdosta State back in the 90s, early 90s, and they're the ones that came up with what they ended up doing with Tim Couch at Kentucky and ended up doing with Josh Heupel at Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Texas Tech, so forth. So,
yeah, his fingerprints are on a lot of today's offenses, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, you look at how everybody goes shotgun now.
Mm-hmm.
Hal Mumme and Mike Leach, as much as anybody, maybe the Chargers with Dan Fouts is part of that too. But that group of coaches, those 3 or 4 different coaches, Mouse Davis was one of them that coached back in the day. Those guys, June Jones, they're responsible for why everybody's in shotgun now.
Yeah, June Jones. Oh my God. all I should see when I hear the name June Jones is what's his name? Is his name Buddy Ryan punching him on the sidelines during the Oilers collapse in the playoff? Or what, I think that's what it was. Yeah, it was pretty bad. Noc, you got any thoughts on Mike Leach?
Not particularly, mostly because I'm still new to the college game, so I've only heard what some people have said, about him. Just like what Matt said, he's definitely a character.
Yeah.
I do know that Mississippi State is going to play their game, their Reliant Quest Bowl on Monday, January 2nd. Because
I wouldn't want to play him.
Yeah, so
that's one of those things that put a team over the top. You know what I mean? Yeah, if it's equal ground. Yeah.
So it's going to be an interesting game. And one last thing for college, I do know that Bryce Young is going to be playing in this game for Alabama. We're getting to that time of where some players might be skipping
he
out
is going to play.
for
Okay.
the draft, and so that's going to make the Alabama and Washington State a pretty or Kansas State, excuse me, a pretty significant game or good one, anyways.
To wrap it up, I'm going to tell you. I don't know much about Mike Leach, but I know my brother was affected. He was very he was texting me a lot about him, and that's how I know what I was telling Matt about the offenses and stuff like that. And everything I've read about him says that he was a fun-loving guy and was a true character. And the sport's going to be lesser without him. So rest in peace, Mike Leach. So okay. Now let's get on to what I missed. Well, actually, I didn't miss the first one we're going to talk about. I knew what was coming, and I watched it anyway. It's my boys on Thursday night. Yeah, it didn't go well. Went as expected. I was shocked that they scored at the end and made it close. But yeah, the 49ers came into the home of the 12th man and did us in. Thoughts on the game, gentlemen? It went exactly the way I thought it would go. I was kind of shocked that our defense even slowed them down to 21 points. Really? What did you guys think?
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to see it, but I did see where Brock Purdy. I mean, for Mr. Irrelevant,
he keeps doing
it. Getting it done.
Yeah, it's a testament to the coaching, really, if you ask me. Shanahan is a good head coach, and it looks like he's I saw a meme. I you know what? I need to pull it up. I need to find it, pull it up. It's the one of the kid drowning while the mother's helping the other kid.
I saw that the other day.
Yeah. And it had and actually they had a skeleton at the bottom of the pool, and it was Trent, whatever his name is, the guy that started this season for him.
The guy that's from North Dakota State.
Yeah, whatever the hell that guy's name is. He's at the bottom of the pool. He's a skeleton. and then you had Garoppolo trying to keep his head above water, and the mother is the coach holding up Purdy. That was a hilarious meme. Man.
I got you, Fry.
Oh man, you got it? Okay. Where is it? Yes, there it is. What a great meme. That's hilarious. Nice. But hey, it's a testament to the coaching, man. Kyle Shanahan knows what he's doing. The 49ers are going to be something to deal with while he's there. I know Noc would love to see him come home to Denver where his dad coached at. I'm sure he'd love to see him do that. But I'm going to have to deal with this son of a bitch for the next decade. But anyway, yeah, it ended up just the way I thought. Noc, did you watch the game?
I have one highlight for you, and I did. I watched the first half.
That's live, it. Rub it in, pal.
Yeah, sorry. And this was just.
That's what we get for wearing lime green with friggin' dark pants. Yikes! At home.
Where'd you go?
Ugh.
There it goes. Okay. So this was the. San
Is this the triple screen?
This is the This is the. You'll see on the left side. He'll go right side. He'll go left side, and then just watch Kittle right here on the right side of the formation. Watch him just go up the middle.
He'll do a block, so wide open. It's so well done.
Get off the block, and then boom, by himself. It was.
I told my wife when I saw that play, I said, "My God, my guys are chasing all over the field. We're screwed."
And it was such a, it's so hard to not say it, but I had to say it. It was such a Purdy pass.
It was such a Purdy pass, wasn't it? Wasn't it a Purdy pass?
And if you're whoever's assigned to Kittle, there's so much eye candy going on that it's easy to lose him.
Yeah. Well, they got so many weapons.
You saw it. He stayed back to block first, and then he went out after both screens were faked. And then by the time that Purdy went through his progression of the fakeness, that he was wide open up the middle. So it's just that's just one of the things they could do because they have
the execution's flawless, man. You can't defend that when it's done right.
I've never seen that play run before.
Yeah, it was awesome, and then it was the defense all game. just not giving Geno time. And then it was really fun to see Ward versus DJ Metcalf. That those two going at it was
Yeah.
really fun to watch.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And they were definitely talking, because Metcalf's a smack talker.
Oh yeah, big time.
And so that was he got a few catches, but Ward also got his punches in there too.
Yeah.
And then I think one of the things to take away from this game is that they used McCaffrey 32 times.
Yeah.
He touched the ball 32 times in this one.
Yeah.
So I think they need to slow the roll on that one.
Yeah, they do, because we know what's going to happen. If they
Yeah.
continue to do that,
So-
he will not be there for the postseason.
The
We know
problem
that.
is that they're down behind him is like the third string running back, because Mitchell got hurt. And I don't know if he's out for the
Well,
season.
they
but that
better
was
hit
their
the
main
practice
guy.
squad and get some bodies in
Yeah,
there.
they got to get some more bodies. They need to get him. He's fine right now, but they can't. He can't sustain that.
History
He
has
just can't.
shown.
Yeah, and they usually, helped a little bit with Debo Samuels being in the backfield sometimes, but he's hurt right now.
He's
so,
gone now too. Yeah. High ankle sprain. Is that what it ended up being?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
he should
Jimmy,
be back soon, but still, you can't use McCaffrey 32 times.
No,
a
you
game.
can't. You cannot.
So hopefully they come up with some stuff. But this is a good win. They clinched the division with this one. So this is good. One of the teams that had a chance to clinch this weekend. And then we have the other team.
Well, real quick,
Yeah, go ahead.
Jimmy Garoppolo getting hurt was one thing, but Jerry Rice, he was critical of how Debo Samuel got hurt. I guess this is this past weekend, not the Thursday night game.
Right. It was the
Kelsey-
last game. Yeah, he got rolled up on it. It was ugly.
He got hurt running up the middle, and Jerry Rice's complaint was basically, why are you using him as a running back? And
because they're running out of running backs. That's
true.
why.
No, they've always had him at running back.
This is true, but they're trying to get away from it to keep him happy. They have been doing outside screens with him and stuff. They haven't.
You know how they made him happy? They paid him, so he's happy.
This is true.
He's already happy. I don't know what else.
Right.
They can use him however they want because they paid him. So
right. But I mean, to Rice's point, eventually you keep doing that, that's what's going to happen. So, okay, so I need you guys to explain to me why I ended up feeling like my wife watching Atlanta versus the Patriots in the Super Bowl. I was so hyped yesterday when I saw at halftime. What was the score at halftime yesterday?
It was 33-0.
33-0. And these guys come back and win the game. How in the hell did this happen? I was at work. I didn't get to see it.
Well, what happens is you play 4 quarters.
I understand that.
And
I understand the
if that's not
semantics.
good enough, you play
what happened to the
overtime,
Colts?
which is what happened in this one.
Yeah.
Matty Ice, the unluckiest man.
It's not his fault. It's really not. The defense, I mean, so they come out in the second half, Vikings punt, then the Colts punt, and then Kirk Cousins finally gets going. Takes about 2-3 minutes to go down and score. The Colts did tack on a field goal to make it 36. That would be their last points of the game. Vikings will go down. They get another touchdown. I think it was helped with an unnecessary roughness pass penalty.
Mm-hmm.
And then Colts punt. So right by this time it's 36-14.
Mm-hmm.
Then early in the fourth quarter, the Vikings go down. Cousins throws a pass to Justin Jefferson and gets an 8-yard touchdown. That brings it to 36-21. And then now the Colts had to punt, and they did get an interception, but then they punted again. So, not a lot of time taken off. So Cousins goes down. They score again. Adam Thielen for a 1-yard touchdown to make it 28-36. The Colts fumbled, but the Vikings did get turnover on downs. And then the Colts went turnovers on downs, and now you can come over to here. So this is 36-28 at this point.
Just
2.5 to go.
Also, not many games go to overtime. It's 36-36. That's kind of a somewhat random score.
If you're not going to tackle the guy, you can. So so that did that, and then they did a 2-point conversion, which Cousin threw to T.J. Hawkinson to tie it up. They went into overtime, punt, field goal.
Unbelievable.
They did with 0 time on the clock. So if they missed that field goal, it would have been a tie. They took up all the time. Vikings took 5 minutes on their first drive. The Colts took 3 minutes, and so it was down to 1.5 minutes to go. The Cousins drove them down the field, and they got a field goal.
How in the hell do you lose a game when you're winning 33? I understand you just explained it, but
yeah, right.
I can't grasp it.
If you don't can't grasp it. If you're just punting and you give the other team's got a good offense, I guess it's.
Were they running the football? The Colts?
No, they tried, but I mean, you look at some of these drives. Let's see.
You even had Jeff Saturday coaching on a Saturday.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that was the first. Yeah, exactly. 4 plays, 2 yards, total of 56 seconds. 6 plays, 15 yards, 2 minutes. 5 plays, 3 yards.
I was so disappointed. So disappointed. I did not like that.
Yeah, most of their possessions were like a minute or 2, and then that was it. And I saw this stat. This is fun. Teams leading by 30 plus are 1,548 to 1 to 1. That's the record of teams that are leading by 30 plus points since 1930.
I'm trying to think of big comebacks. I remember, what was it, Frank Reich that led a big comeback?
Frank Reich,
they showed that one.
Time,
of course they showed that one.
It had the biggest comeback in NCAA
32
history
points.
32 and points. The biggest comeback in pro football history.
Yeah, that was 32-point comeback in that.
The famous Oilers-Bills game. Yeah.
And Matt Ryan had the biggest collapse in Super Bowl history.
Yes,
and
he did.
Showed that too. Yeah.
Show did. Yup. And now he's part of 2 of the most infamous ever.
You play to win the game, I guess. The Colts did not play to win the game, not in the second half. Because the first half was just ugly. There was a field goal block. There was a pick 6. There was the Vikings went twice on 4th down. One of them, they just went for it on their own side of the field. They just straight up went for it, and they didn't get it. And then the second time, they tried to do a fake punt, and the punter threw it, and the guy dropped it. And it was contested, but so it was just. That's how it got up to 33-0 in the first place. Was just bad choices and just bad play and just bad everything, and then they came back. So that was that game. Yeah.
So you like that, huh?
You like that?
You like that, huh?
They have to rename him Clutch Cousins.
So they had, Miracle in Minnesota. Back another year. So it's
Moving on.
Minnesota, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Moving on. The new Browns played the old Browns. Sorry, guys. I just hate Kirk Cousins. I can't
he was so happy. I texted him, Matt. He was so happy. I love seeing Kirk Cousins.
I love watching him get squashed. That's awesome. I can't see it. And then
I started texting him back and about how they come back, and I got nothing from.
You got nothing. That's because I saw where it was going. My brother was hitting me every time. My brother was sending me the GIF of the plane landing every time they scored again, and I was like, "No, Jesus, what the hell?"
Is that meet the new Browns, same as the old Browns?
That's it.
Like a Who reference.
That's it. This wasn't hard to predict. The Baltimore Ravens quarterback room needs bodies. So, and the Browns quarterback may be a little rusty, but he's definitely better than anybody that's on their roster. That's why I picked Cleveland this week. Thoughts on this game, gentlemen?
Go ahead, Matt.
I was watching college football. Didn't get a chance to really watch much of this. I saw where the Ravens quarterback, the backup, that he didn't really do much of anything. But yeah,
was it the second stringer or the third stringer?
Well, Harbaugh is a hypocrite, so they played Huntley a week after he got concussed. So,
All right.
he was a big critic of the Tua
Oh yeah.
situation
Should have
earlier in
sat
the
him,
season.
right? Yeah.
So yeah, and they take better care of their players. But
Oh, yeah.
Huntley got concussed last week, and he's playing this week. So naturally, shut up, Harbaugh. You can't speak to this anymore.
Yep.
Kind of deal. You can't if you're going to do exactly the same thing the Dolphins did. Then
He's
you can't
slowly but surely becoming his
No.
brother, which sucks because his brother's an asshole.
So that was kind of weird in its own place. But yeah, no, Matt was right. I had this going because I watched every game yesterday, all the
Yeah.
games.
Mhm.
So I had all the games going on at once. So a lot of games were going on around this time. So I didn't really pay too much attention to this game, but there wasn't really anything going on anyways.
Yeah.
I don't even remember the scores, to be honest. But this is pretty much the highlight that I had. This was the Ravens' last-ditch attempt to do anything before the end of the game, and fourth and 13. I mean,
For the Ravens.
you could just see that there's not much hope here, and almost intercepted, and that was the end of the game, pretty much. So
That looks
yeah,
like a pretty good microcosm of that game. Yeah. What a deal. Yeah.
So I
pretty
did hear.
much.
1, 2, 3, ineptitude. Yeah.
Since we're
So
talking
yeah,
about-
not much
since
there.
we're talking about the Ravens. I did hear an interesting story over the past week where Bill Belichick can be a little bit of a character himself. Apparently, there was a player that played for the Ravens back. This is late '90s, early 2000s, named Peter Boulware.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
Florida
Linebacker.
State player.
Mhm.
And apparently, one of the years that Belichick was the head coach of the AFC for the Pro Bowl, this would have been early 2000s, that in order to sort of take a dig at Art Modell, because for whatever reason Belichick didn't like the guy, he added Peter Boulware to the AFC Pro Bowl roster. Well, Boulware had in his contract that if he made the Pro Bowl, that he got like a $500,000 bonus or something crazy like that. At the $500,000 is a lot of money, but it was more then.
Mhm.
And anyway, so he did that, even though like Boulware may or may not, it was questionable as to whether or not he should have made the Pro Bowl.
Mhm.
Belichick gave him the spot just to make Art Modell have to spend extra money.
Well, Art Modell, if you don't know the history, I mean, Belichick was the head coach of that team when they packed up in the middle of the night and left Cleveland. And that's what
right.
drove him. That's why he left Cleveland.
Right. So that must have been where the retribution came from.
That's where it is. Yeah.
They were literally ripping the seats out of the stadium. The fans were in that last Browns game. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's crazy.
Yep. Yeah, that was his first head coaching gig, was the Browns. He's the guy that drafted Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis played for the Browns first under Belichick, his rookie year.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, that was a do-nothing game there. And it ended
It was very unfortunate because you just got off that high of the Vikings game, and then they switch because this is on the same channel, right? So they go from this crazy ending to this overtime win, right? And then they switched over to the Ravens and Browns game at the start of the second quarter, 0-0.
We're watching a barn burner.
The transition
Nothing
was
to
so
catch you
like,
up on
oh
as
my
you
god,
come
so
in the
cringy.
second
It was,
quarter.
oh my good. It cracked me up that I was like, my goodness.
Well,
How do you go? It's like, well, you didn't miss anything,
right? Well, from what I understand, even though it was a heartbreaker for my wife, we had a good one to wrap up the day.
Really good. And they got rid of all the snow and everything at the start of it too. But by the end of it, it was snowing again.
Yeah, it was snowing again. I saw that. Yeah, I got to see the very end of it when they were eating the clock down to nothing. Very curious how that. I thought it was kind of curious. We'll talk about the game, but the little bit I saw, I was kind of curious why that running back didn't score. I mean, I guess because they didn't want to give him the ball back.
That was the one highlight that I picked for this game because there wasn't really anything special about that final drive. It was literally just dinks and dunks all the way down the field.
Right.
There was no crazy catch or nothing. Just one after another 5-10 yard plays, just all the way down the field. So that was actually the highlight that I picked for that one. And what he's talking about, folks, is this one by Devin Singletary. Right before you can actually see him slowing down, and looking around, he's like,
He-
"Oh wow,
He
I'm
could have
free."
scored
He
easily,
could have scored, yeah.
and he's looking. It looks like he's looking at the sideline marker as
Yeah.
he's running,
Yeah, and yeah, he wanted to get that first down,
and he didn't get it.
a million fantasy teams cried out in terror as
Yeah.
he went down. And because this championship weekend for some,
Yes, it's championship
or not,
weekend
excuse me, it's playoff weekend for
yeah, it's
fantasy.
playoffs.
I'm on a
yeah.
bye week, so not for me, but because I was first in my league. But
Humble
no,
brag.
so he went down, and yeah, and then it was kind of curious because you would think in this situation you wouldn't want to rely on a kicker in the snow.
No.
That's what I was
Exactly.
kind of weird
That-
about.
You know
That's
what
my
you
first
should have
thought.
got as a highlight is all those guys out there brushing off all the snow. I thought that was funny as hell because apparently they can't use towels, but they can use their hands and feet to kick it all out of the way.
You mean they can't use a
They can't use a towel.
They can't use a machine like Belichick. They
No,
can't.
they
They can't.
Belichick didn't do that. That was way before Belichick, buddy. That was way before he was there. That was in the 70s, man.
But yeah. So, but I guess and Miami didn't have any timeouts. I don't think left. So,
They
but
didn't.
even
They
still,
didn't.
in the NFL, with Tyreek Hill and Waddle, Waddle was playing great. Even
Yeah,
with 3
I
seconds
understand
left.
the thinking. It's
The
just
Bills, the Bills, after 12 seconds in the playoffs last year, or 15 seconds, whatever it was, they're like, no thanks. We're not
Well,
going to give them any time.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I understand in the NFL doing that, but not in those conditions. In those conditions, you got to try to score a touchdown because you never know what can happen.
I'm wondering if they had. I guess it depends on if there was some kind of like. It's kind of hard to tell because the field was pretty clear when they started out. But if they did any field goals before the game started and
Yeah.
checked out, because it was a chip shot too.
It
think-
was nothing. It
So-
wasn't even an extra point. It was an old school extra point. Is what it was.
Yeah,
It-
so it's not like he had to
oh.
really go back and get a lot of
But
force
still,
on it.
in those kind of conditions, I don't want to leave it to a kicker.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that
I'd have
was a
been
little
like,
strange,
score, you
but
know.
it did lead to this. This will be the final highlight that I have.
Oh, okay. All right.
Just this guy.
Yeah.
Look at the
This
snow
guy.
come down. I love that field, though. I'm so happy that it went to field goal before the end of it,
Mm-hmm.
and it was good.
Yeah, that was the play of the game right
Oh
there.
yeah, the sliding.
Yes, the sliding.
There's Dig, and they're all like, you can see him in the background doing snow angels and all that good stuff. So
Yeah.
you can see him on the field right now doing the snow angels. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
Nobody circles
Unless
the
you're a
wagon.
Miami Dolphins fan,
like the
they weren't
Buffalo
too
Bills.
happy
Right.
about it.
So besides one clunker of a game, the games were very exciting yesterday for NFL and some
Yeah.
of the bowl games too.
Yeah. We got it's just more proof to me that we got a young head coach in Miami. He's got a really good team, especially
I
offensively.
thought they did better than I thought they were going to. Than a lot of people thought they were going to do.
Well,
up there,
I
up north,
thought it was
so.
going to be close, and I actually picked them to win the game just to pick a long shot this weekend. But
The Miami coach, whenever they played San Francisco, I guess last Sunday, he had the same reaction on his face that I did whenever this was early in the game. The Dolphins got called for roughing the passer
Mhm.
on Brock Purdy.
yeah,
And literally, all the defender did was just a form tackle on him.
yeah, it was horrible.
while
That
Purdy
was
had the
one of the
ball.
worst calls I've seen all year. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was horrible.
But, yeah,
But the thing about that game is they made no adjustments because
Yeah.
the defense had them on lockdown. They couldn't do anything, and he didn't make any adjustments. He didn't go to the running game. He didn't adjust the passing game for the defense they were running. So that's what I'm saying. They've got a young coach there. He's a good coach.
They did go to the run game in this one, and Mostert did really good in this game.
That's what I'm saying. He obviously learned, and good for him. But he's still got some stuff to learn.
now, Joe, I think you may be an analytics guy like your boy with the Chargers.
Oh God, no! Please tell me he's not one of those guys.
He's
I,
got
think
one
he
of
may,
them
I
too.
haven't looked into him too much, but he may be. He may be. With
Well,
him being a
see,
younger
the
offensive
NFC
guy,
The NFC East, or excuse me, the AFC East has two really good assistants that coached underneath Shanahan out there in San Francisco. The guy that's the head coach for the Jets. I hate the Jets, but that guy's a good
Yeah.
coach. He's gonna get that team somewhere. And I do like the kid that's coaching the Dolphins. I mean, he was under Shanahan as well. They've got Shanahan's coaching tree is going to be in this league for a while, and testament to his staff and what he does. He learned a lot from his dad. I tell you what, his fingerprints are starting to spread out, kind of like Holmgren's did.
I think that's
And,
one of the reasons why we don't have a lot of dynasties these days. There's just no way to keep a coaching staff together because they get opportunities.
Yeah, they do.
When your team is number one offense in the league or number one defense in the league, you're going to get an opportunity to coach.
Right. And just remember, if you're a assistant coach under Belichick, don't go anywhere.
Yeah,
Just stay there. You're better off staying there.
tree
You
on the
win
other
rings
hand.
there. Okay, just stay
Yeah.
there.
You
Just stay
guys
there.
gel together great.
Right.
You don't work
Just
anywhere
stay
else.
there. Everything will be okay. You
Oh
go
my
somewhere
God,
else,
what a
you're
shit
going to be
show
a
there.
friggin' franchise destroyer if you go somewhere.
Yeah, you're going to completely. Yeah, no, you're going to completely derail teams.
You're saying
All
it's
right.
like when someone in a good band goes, "I'm going to try a solo album."
That's it. Right?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
It's like when Kiss did their solo albums,
You're
right?
not Beyonce. You're not gonna. It's not gonna happen. Okay.
They did their solo albums and said, "Nah, that was nice. Let's get back together." Yeah.
Yep. You were talking about Holmgren, man. I think it was some of those early to mid '90s Packers coaching staffs.
Yeah.
Staffs they went on to, was it you had Mariucci, Gruden,
Mariucci,
two or three other
Gruden.
guys.
Oh my God, how
Yep.
many coaches did they have? Dick Duran. I mean, there was a lot of good coaches in the NFL coming out of the Holmgren tree. Well, Andy Reid's still coaching, and he
Yep.
came out of that tree.
Andy Reid's the reason I can't hate the Chiefs.
Yeah, he's a great coach.
Just don't fall asleep around him.
They were
Right.
Philly was my.
You'll end up
my
with a
playoff
mustache you
team.
didn't want and can't
Philly
wash
was always
off.
Philly was always my bad because they did the same thing that the Broncos did at the time with Mike Shanahan was the West Coast offense, and that's why I always liked Andy Reid. And
Yeah.
they were kind of my NFC team go-to.
Okay, so that was the fun. You had an exciting game, and then you had a little break from it for about 2.5 hours.
Yeah, you go to dinner, take a break,
and then you had
have
another
coffee.
exciting game. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's see if today we're going to have any mashups that are going to measure up to that. Let's
I was
take
looking
a
at
look
some
at
of
it.
these, man. There's not a lot.
Let's look at it. Let's see. First one we got is the Atlanta Falcons, and from what I understand, Mariota has been benched. Am I hearing that correctly?
He left the team, as far as I know. I don't know. But
Left the team?
Yeah, I believe he had an injury though.
Is that what it is?
No, he got benched. He got straight up benched. He might have an
That's
injury.
what I
but
heard. That he got straight up benched.
They were going with Riddler, no matter what. Hurt or no, they're going with, is it Riddler or is it Rattler? I can't remember.
Well,
Desmond
Rattler's
Riddler.
still in college, isn't he?
Okay, yeah, I get them confused with Riddler then. Riddler?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, so Mariota will be undergoing knee surgery, but I think around
I think it was
that
a
same,
BiCap or
but I think that same time period he did go MIA. I think it was sort of like happened all at the same time where he had an injury but then kind of disappeared. It was an odd situation.
Well, all I know is it's in the dome, and I'm going to take New Orleans in this one just because they're at home. Neither one of these teams are going anywhere. This is a dysfunctional division right now.
Yeah, I think with the new quarterback coming out, he's probably not going to be. You get surprised. There's always for every Purdy, there's somebody that's not.
This is not Shanahan coaching the Niners.
Right,
no,
exactly.
This is not. No.
I'm going with the Saints as well.
Yep, I'll go Saints.
Yep. Who dat nation there, Matt?
Who dat?
I think they're a little better off. But
the next one we got is the Pittsburgh Steelers heading into Carolina. This is going to be an interesting game. It should be a good one.
This is huge implications for the Panthers.
Yes, absolutely. Because nobody wants to win this division. So, hey.
Looking at the Panthers schedule, I believe they have the easiest.
They have the easiest road. We were looking at that a couple weeks ago, weren't we, bud? Yeah.
We sure were.
I think we established they do have the easiest road.
And you're hoping that the Saints can beat the Falcons so that the Falcons will, both the Saints and the Falcons will be 5-8.
Right,
and if
right.
The Panthers
That's what
can
they
pull
need.
This out, they'll be 6-8.
They put a little run together here, and they're playing the teams that they can do it against. Who's quarterbacking for him? Walker? Is he quarterbacking for him?
I think it might still be Sam Darnold, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean,
but they have
these guys
Hubbard
are playing for that interim coach they have, though.
Yeah,
they really are.
And they have Deontay Foreman, so they just need to run the ball.
And
Their
as Matt
defense is
likes
pretty
to
decent.
say, as Matt likes to say, they're playing old man football too.
Mhm.
So
That's right.
hey, yeah, it's working for them. They could easily win this division if they just
They
put
could.
a string together. They could.
I'll go
I went
Carolina.
with them. I picked them this weekend. So
I went with Carolina too. They have a lot to play for. Steelers not so much. I think this is just rookie year.
yeah, it's
Rookie year, go
it's
through it.
Pickett, yeah.
I think Pickett will be good. I think he'll be just fine. Get
I
him
think he'll
another
be
weapon
fine
or
too.
two.
He's playing. He's
Um,
playing most every down.
Yeah, fix that defense. And
Now, is he playing today, or is Turducken going in there?
I'm not sure.
Because
I didn't look
Turducken
too
was
much
giving
up
it to
on
the
the
other team
injuries
how many
report.
times last week? I mean, God, every time he dropped back, he was throwing it to the other team. It was pretty bad. But yeah, we're all on board with Carolina. Next up, we got, oh man, it just gets worse for the Chicago Bears, don't it? Oh my God.
Yeah,
Yeah.
12-1. The Eagles have already clinched, but they're going. They still need. They're still trying to win their division.
I was fixing to say they
still
want to
trying to
hang
get
on to that
one.
number one seed, and there's they don't need too many more victories for
I think
it,
they need
but
2 more. I think
I
2
think
more is
so.
probably the number. They beat
We
the
got
Vikings.
a total of 17 games, right? And I think the closest teams to them,
Vikings. Well, they lost to the Vikings. Lost to the so they have the head-to-head.
right?
But the Cowboys are also have
I
the
was
same
going to say
record. or have
Dallas
the
is
same
probably the closest to them, and they've got how many? They've got one more game against them, so
Yes.
they really need to get at least one game ahead of the Cowboys.
So I think the Eagles need one more win, and then if they beat the Falcons or if they beat the Cowboys, they'll clinch number one and the
Yeah.
bye. I
Yeah.
think because they would have head-to-head over the Cowboys and the Vikings.
Well, this is the deal. If they keep winning like this, dude, by the time they get to the Cowboys game, did they play the Cowboys last game? No, they play the Giants last game of the season.
No,
When do they play the
Commanders?
Cowboys?
The Commanders get the Cowboys in the last week, I believe.
Okay. So when are they playing the Cowboys again? Let's look at that.
I know they still got him one more time.
Right. And let me see. I'm going to look up here. I'm not
I don't
going to
know.
look
Is
it
it?
up on the
It
screen.
could be a long day for the Bears today.
It's going to be a long day for the Bears, boys
So
and
next
girls.
week they play next week.
They play next week. Oh, that's a big
Next
game.
week at
They win that
4:25.
one. They probably wrap the division because they're going to win today. That's going to put them at 13-1 with 3 games to go.
Well, you know how the NBA thinks that they own Christmas Day?
Yeah.
If you got the Eagles and Cowboys,
The Eagles are playing the Cowboys in prime time? Are they playing them?
Well, I don't know if they're. I'm just saying the NBA they run games all day.
We'll
Sunday.
look at it before we get out of here
So-
today. I'll pull that up. We'll look at it.
It's
Yeah.
not the NBA is not going
Absolutely.
to own Christmas.
The
like
No,
the
they're
Eagles
not.
and Cowboys play at 4:25 next week.
Yeah.
Oh, do they? They got the afternoon
No,
game.
no. And that's you know what they should. Oh man, I hope they do. They need to flex that because
They do.
Sunday night game.
They
is.
do. They need to put that in
You know
prime
what
time.
you know what the prime timing game is? Raiders at Steelers. That needs to be flexed.
Oh, they need to flip those
They-
two
that-
games.
yeah.
Yes,
Can they-
hell
can they
yes,
flex
they
that
need to
game
do
now?
that.
Can they flex the 4:25 game? I don't know if they can.
I
do
don't
that.
know. I don't know.
Well-
I mean, what network is showing the Steelers and
Well, that's NFL Network.
it's NFL Network? Well, they could easily do it.
And-
I mean,
and
they
probably-
own the damn NFL. You know.
Hang on. This is Saturday. This is next Saturday.
Right.
Okay, I was looking at it. Oh, interesting.
That's what Matt was
Oh,
saying.
okay. I don't know if you can flex Saturday night games like that.
Who knows?
Oh yeah. I
NFL
don't think they can change the date. But what I'm saying is, if the Eagles
Or the
and Cowboys
time.
are
No,
playing-
I don't
can
think.
change the
I don't know.
time.
I don't know if they've ever flexed a Saturday game though.
I don't think they have. I don't think I have.
I'm
But
just saying
it'd
if the
be,
Eagles-
it would
I
be
think
great if they did. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, looking forward to that. But yeah, for this week, Chicago Bears fans, just turn the TV off or watch another game or something. You don't want to see this one.
maybe watch some old SNL clips of the Bears.
Dub Bears. Yeah, that's right. Ditka and Dub Bears. Go watch some 85 stuff. Yeah.
Look, Fields has done okay.
Go
That's
ahead.
I'm not saying they're
Man,
going to win. I'm not calling an upset on this one by any means. I
he
picked the
is
Eagles.
so in love with this guy, Matt.
I am.
He's so in
I
love
am.
with this dude.
He's talented. I mean, the guy is
He's
talented.
for sure, but the defense is not that great. I don't think they're going to hold the Eagles. This would have to be one of those games where it would be, the first half of the Colts and Vikings game. Like they're going to need that level of, and even then, that might still not do it. So, like it did with the Vikings and the Colts.
I still don't care for the way Justin Fields left Georgia. That's a whole nother whole other story.
Look, man, he came in the NFL saying that none of his wide receivers could start for Ohio State. The guy's a moron. Come on. Quit defending this idiot.
Well, I mean, I do really like Marvin Harris Jr. He's going to be a superstar. So I don't know. There's a little bit of merit.
I'm just saying, you don't say that about your teammate to the press.
Yeah,
you don't do that. Not as a rookie, you don't. What a dumbass, man. All right.
Youngin, you don't know.
Next up, yeah. Young, dumb, and full of stuff, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Next
up,
goodness.
boy, we have got some mismatches today.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. Some of these games are just a little.
Wow.
Oof.
The only question here is, will they hang a 50 burger on Houston?
Look at Texans though. I mean, they hang around some games. I just, I don't know if they can do that with the Chiefs.
Will they hang a 50 burger on the Houston Texans? That's what I'm asking. That's all I'm wondering.
Yeah.
Probably.
The thing they have to do here is they have to protect their players. If they get a big lead, they need to put the backup in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They need to protect their players in this one.
Yeah,
they are playing a pro football game.
Chiefs are, I think the Chiefs win the division with a win or a Chargers loss, either or. But they are still trying to get that number 1 seed. So they can't treat this game lightly, like every other game.
No, they cannot.
Let them do that
Because guess who's on their horse coming?
Right, because
that team that ain't scared of them.
Yeah,
that
Buffalo
team that is not scared of them.
So.
No, I'm not talking about Buffalo.
No, I'm just saying that they're number 1 seed right now, and the Chiefs are trying to keep up with them. But
yeah, yeah, they want to get knocked down another seed. That team that beat the shit out of them a little while back. Yeah, they're coming. They're kryptonite. Joe Cool and the boys
Chiefs here. By the way, I was going Eagles previous game in case anybody was doubting.
In case we really needed to say who we're picking.
Let's skip your pick for this one too. I think we're good.
Yeah,
here.
let's pick. Let's skip this one too. You're going for Houston,
okay,
right?
No. Let's be fair. Matt, do you have any hope for the Texans?
Houston, we have a problem. Yeah, going Chiefs.
It's pretty bad, man. I mean, now what are they doing there? I saw Mills was benched, or was he hurt? They put somebody else in.
I think he got benched, but I don't know if it was for the rest of the season.
I think they're trying out quarterbacks. I think they're treating the rest of the season like the preseason.
Yeah,
see what they got.
It's like apocalypse now. I mean, they're living at the end of that river, and it's just chaos.
Well, they got the number 1 pick sewn up,
Yeah.
so hey, they're not bailing or anything. I know that. It's just I'd be doing the same thing. See who I'm going to keep, who I'm going to move on with, that kind of thing. All right, let's see who is next up. Oh, now this has got trap game written all over it, guys.
This is my upset of the pick. This is my upset of the week.
Yeah,
absolutely. I did go with the Jags on this one.
Let me see who I went with. I thought about going with the Jags for a second.
There was a trap game last week with the Dallas and Texans, and
let's see.
Texans almost pulled it off. I think the Jags could pull it off.
Who did I go with in this
thumping
one?
of the Titans last week.
Here we go.
Jags aren't looking bad right now.
Yeah, I went Dallas, but I thought about it, man. I'm
going to do it. I am going to do it. It is my pick. I'm going for this is my big upset of the week is the Jaguars and Cowboys.
Well, it's in Jacksonville, which by my logic, they're going to get more calls, especially late in the game. It's just the nature of a game live in front of fans. Referees are human just like everybody else, and they want to walk out of there intact and not shot or stabbed or anything like that. So, Dallas, their offense since Prescott got back has been off the chain. They're really clicking on all cylinders right now.
They start off slow though. They in the first
they do,
half,
they do. But
slow.
Man, wow,
Jack could take advantage of that.
Now he is going to throw a pick. He's thrown in the last 8 games. He's thrown 9 picks, so he's going to give it to the other team at least once in the game. Jacksonville can do
take advantage of that. That's the question.
That's the thing. Yeah, they can do it.
That's how you beat good teams is you take advantage of their mistakes. And Jaguars are going to have to do that. They're going to have to play a perfect game.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe not a perfect game, but they got to play good for sure.
Yeah, they do. And Dallas has got a good defense, man. They're a little nicked up right now, but they're still good.
But this is still a huge game for Dallas, and this is actually And Jaguars are a desperate team, but they're not completely. They have a small chance, but they're not completely out of the mix, especially with the Titans reeling for the division.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
I mean, the
I know.
Jaguars,
It's crazy.
they're only 2 games behind.
Didn't Jacksonville beat them when they played earlier this year?
They beat them last week. They destroyed them last week.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. They beat the hell out of Tennessee.
So they're not
Yep.
completely out of the playoff race, and
That's
the defense isn't
crazy.
bad, and Trevor Lawrence is starting to really show up, and you got Etienne.
I think he's still a
pretty
year
good.
away from being.
Yeah, it's possible, but
Yeah,
they're
I mean,
showing
this
up
is
right now. So
last year was a wash, and this is really his rookie season. It really is. I mean,
So I don't know. I'm going for the Jags. What about you, Matt? What do you got?
I'll go Cowboys. I do see how someone could pick Jacksonville here when you consider everything. Also, you talk about last year. What were they thinking hiring Urban Meyer?
Flashy name out of college. It happens.
It's okay. His run in Florida, and these guys, they bounce back and forth across the Atlantic between London and Florida. And they knew him, and they thought, hey, this is the guy. This is going to be our guy. They targeted him a few years ago. And it's wow, how bad it worked out.
I mean, this was after the whole thing where he was hanging out at the bar with the co-ed, and I mean,
that happened
I'm sorry,
in the middle of the season.
That was during the season.
That was during the season. That was during the season.
I was like,
the reason why I was thinking it was before.
He didn't make it past like week 5 or whatever it was.
They expected him
Columbus,
to be a lot better. He's one of those CEO type coaches. So
no, he wanted complete control over these players. He wanted to tell them when they go to the bathroom, kind of shit. Like that micromanaged bullshit.
It don't work that way in the NFL, boys and girls. It doesn't work that way in the NFL.
Let me
Not when the players make more than you do.
Yes, that happened during the season. I guess last year, but then before that is where he had the controversy at Ohio State with the whole, receivers. It was a receivers coach that had a domestic violence thing. Yeah, and there was some other stuff before that. All the criminals that were on the Florida 2008 team, including one that we, that played for the Patriots at tight end. But
yes, sir.
My point is that there was a checkered past there already, and
there was.
And he also, whenever things weren't going well at Florida, he bailed. Like, I think the guy had enough of a checkered past to where they should.
I think it was just they were looking at it through rose-colored glasses, man. I really do. That's what I think. That and inexperience,
The Jackson and look over at Miami when they pulled in Nick Saban. They didn't learn that lesson.
Right, didn't learn from that debacle.
Steve Spurrier with the Commandos.
You got to give Steve Spurrier credit, though.
He's a great coach.
He coached out his contract. He did not bail. He coached out his contract. You got to give him that. You can say what you want about his coaching run with Washington, but look. There's nothing I hate more than a coach that bails on his team. Petrino, what he did to the Falcons because he wasn't going to have Michael Vick. Saban, because the non-signing of Breeze blew up in his face. Yeah. I mean, you guys can carry your ass back to college and have a good time. Get out of my game.
Now, with that said, I'm a big Spurrier fan. At South Carolina, he did kind of pull a little bit of that Petrino type stuff. He got 2 or 3 games into his last season, saw that his roster wasn't very good, so they weren't going to have a very good season, and said, "I retire."
Really?
So,
wow.
So he didn't.
I hate to hear that.
Yeah, he didn't go out the way that he should have gone out, but he has.
Has
more
he
character.
coached since?
No, that was it. He retired.
Okay.
But he's got more character than Urban Meyer, though.
Oh, for sure. Spurrier, hell yeah. But anyway. Getting back to the NFL and the big boys, Noc, I hope it works out for you. I don't think it's going to, but I'm Matt and I.
Listen, as far as I know, everyone. Well, there was one of my coworkers did pick the Jags as well, but other than that, we're probably alone in this one. So,
my crew, I've got 5 guys in the thing, and let me see. I've got one closet case Jacksonville fan, and yes, my brother did pick the. As he calls them, the Jaguars. The Jaguars. Yes. But anyway, okay. Next one.
Yes.
Oh, stop.
I can't wait for this game.
We got Detroit against the Jets. The Jets have to go back to Wilson.
They do. And the Lions, the high-flying Lions. I don't know if they've gotten it quite yet, but
Dan Campbell
top
has put together a 3-game winning streak with the Detroit Lions.
top 3 offense, if not number 1.
They've been scoring all year. In their losses, they've rolled up 35.
It's funny because this is a team that's even been shut out in the season, and they still are one of the top offenses.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like very weird. But no, they have a huge chance. They're out of the division race because Minnesota won. So I mean that was kind of a long shot. The Vikings would have had to lose out, and the Lions win out in order to get the division. But they do have a shot at the last. Actually, the top. The bottom 2 wild card spots because Washington and the Giants are only a game and a half ahead.
Mm-hmm.
So they're vying for one of those wild card spots.
Yeah, the Giants are being reeled in really fast. They're dropping games left and right.
And unfortunately for you, the Seahawks as well.
Yeah, we're not going to make it. I really hope we don't make the playoffs this year because we'll be one and done. So, but yeah. What do you think, Matt? Do you think, like I said, the coach of the Jets, he came out of that Shanahan tree, and he's got that defense. You can say what you want about the Jets; they play defense, and that's his side of the ball.
That's why it's going to be such an intriguing matchup.
It is going to be a fun game to watch.
I'm going to go Lions, but this is a tough one, especially with it being, in the Meadowlands.
Mm-hmm. If White was playing. I would give the nod to the Jets. It
would have been a tough one. I still probably would have picked the Lions just because of the offense. But it would have been I would have had to take a lot longer look at this. But I just don't think Zach Wilson.
It's going to be a fun one to watch. This is a good matchup in a weekend of mismatches. This is a really good one.
I mean, the Jets are still in a
Oh yeah,
position.
you kidding me?
So,
at one point, the entire division was going to be in the playoffs, and nobody else was in
right.
a wild card spot.
And normally, if you hear, a 500 Jets team and a 500 Lions team are playing, you're like, I
care less.
I'd rather go look at the yard.
This is going to be a good one.
No. Did anyone predict at the beginning of the season that these two teams would be vying for a playoff spot? In December?
No.
So this is great. I love it.
I do too. I hope I get to see it. I don't know how you guys watch the games, but I usually try and have something with NFL Network on, even if you don't have the Red Zone or anything like that. Put the NFL Network on. You see the highlights, and they do check-ins like a minute or so behind live, so you're really not far off. Watching it on NFL Network. So just a little tip for those of you that don't have the money for big ticket items like getting the NFL ticket and that kind of thing. Or
I heard that that Apple dropped out of the race for the rights for Sunday Ticket.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's down to Google and Amazon. And I'm pulling for Amazon all the way because that would mean Sunday Ticket on Amazon rather than Google getting it and being on YouTube TV.
Yeah. Then you'd have to get
much rather
service.
Amazon getting it. Even if I had to pay extra for it, I'd rather do it on Amazon because I don't. If you did YouTube TV, you'd have to pay for the entire fucking package, which is
that would suck.
$80 itself, and then Sunday Ticket on it. I'll give Amazon Prime, give them $100 or whatever it would be.
But final thoughts on this one. I'm going with the Lions. I think they're going to find a way to score against this team, and I think Wilson. This is going to be interesting just to watch Wilson and see if he learned anything on the bench.
A little humility, maybe.
Yeah, little humility. Little film study to see what he was doing wrong. That kind of thing. Because from all the indicators. All White was doing was exactly what was asked of him. So if Wilson does the same, they should win, right?
That Goldberg spear that he took? Oh my goodness!
Oh yeah, I did. I saw it. Yeah.
Oh that was man, he looked like he was folded up like a lawn chair.
Yeah. Did he crack ribs or what?
I think
Or
it was
is-
a fractured rib or something like that. I think
Jesus
that was
Christ,
shot.
I hate it for him.
He
Yeah,
took a massive
he
shot.
fucking got blasted. That was nasty.
Oh, I felt
But
bad
yet-
for him because I really
Yeah, I
liked
don't think
I
that
really
was a
liked the kid.
penalty. I don't. I
It
could be
was
wrong.
not
No,
a penalty.
'cause
The
it
guy
was a
put
pre-
his
it was a-
shoulder
it was-
right into
oh,
his
yeah,
friggin'
it was
rib
a
cage.
complete
It was
legit hit.
awesome.
It
It was a
just a-
form tackle.
Yeah,
But man,
point
he was
is-
not looking for it at all.
because it was
Yeah,
right as he
but-
threw it too, so it
Mhm.
wasn't like a late hit. Either.
Yeah, my point is, if that's not a penalty, then what the Dolphins did to Purdy opening drive last week is not a penalty.
It's not.
I hate
It's
the
not.
inconsistency. They're all
Yeah.
the NFL is also considering throwing players out of the game for roughing the passer. They're considering ejections.
The-
Yeah,
and that-
they're looking at the college stuff with the targeting.
and they.
But you could in the NFL, you could potentially have
But the
non-targeting
good thing with
calls,
that,
but-
yeah, because
for
they
both
do
objects.
when they do the review, they can actually call it off too.
Yep.
So I don't mind. I think more review is not a bad thing. I know it slows down the game a little bit, but I'd rather have them make
Well,
the
if you're
correct
going to
call.
throw people out of games, you better be reviewing calls.
No, they're gonna. Yeah, I can't imagine there would be a situation where they would add that and not attach a review to it. 'Cause
Right.
That's exactly what college does. They
Because when
review
you got a 53-man roster, ejections are serious business. I mean,
Yeah, they are.
Mhm.
And
So-
and since they've gone to an 18-week season with 17 games, I really think they need to up the roster. I mean, look how many teams have lost. Shanahan, once again, great coaching. He's on his third straight. He's on Mr. Irrelevant and winning games. I mean, not many teams can do that, man.
Yeah,
But anyway,
I think they should have worked in the collective bargaining agreement that they added at least 2 roster spots if they're going to add an extra game. I
Yeah.
don't think that's asking too much to go to
No, it's
55.
not. The kind of juggling they have to do right now to field 53-man rosters weekly. They're doing a lot of scout team. You're hearing the scout team talked about a lot more during game coverage now because they're having to hide guys in the friggin' scout team just to field a team when they've got injuries. So,
well,
okay.
As a transition to this next game, you want to talk about injuries? What's this next game?
Let's finish up this. I'm going Detroit. Noc.
Detroit.
Okay. Matt.
Detroit.
Okay. All right. The next one. Talking injuries. Oh my God. Oh.
Here's why I'm
decimated teams.
picking Denver.
You should pick Denver.
Their defense is better.
Their defense is better. That's why they'll win the game. Yes.
Kyler
Absolutely.
Murray's out for the season because he tripped himself and fell onto a
Kyler
knife.
Murray needs to be. Ooh,
I couldn't believe that. I watched. I was like, I picked the Cardinals that week too, and it was.
So
like,
did I. The
3
one time I picked the Cardinals,
Yeah,
I actually picked that idiot,
it's like
and he injures
are you
himself.
kidding me? He injured himself, and they
turf
can talk all they
monster
want
got
about
him.
the turf. He injured himself. I don't know why he
What
took
in
off
the
like he
hell?
did. And then he couldn't slide. I don't know. Unacceptable.
How many
And then-
times have you heard me say he's a mental pygmy?
So
How
he
many
can have
times have
plenty
you
of
heard
time
me
to
say
practice COD. So their backup is in. They've had tons of
Colt
injuries on the
McCoy.
Cardinals.
From Texas, the old Longhorn.
Colt
The
McCoy.
most
Slinging a
Texas
rock.
sounding name ever. Yes.
And he's been
Yep.
injured. He's been injured a little bit too. So they've had to put in their third string.
Mm.
And then for Denver, you got Brett Rippon. So
Yeah,
yeah.
because my man took
Wilson
a shot.
Wilson was cleared, but yeah, he went down really hard in that game.
Yeah, he did.
Against the Chiefs. It was our best offensive game all year. 28 points. But it
you
was
know
against
what?
the Chiefs.
You know, in days gone past, he wouldn't have done that. He's just they have been losing so much that he's pressing, and he went head first, and he paid for it.
He
Oh
was
my God, did he
in
pay for
another
it?
I think
world.
they should just sit
Yeah.
here for the rest of the year.
I
don't
think that's the
know,
way to
but
go too, because I don't think your head coach is going to be there next year.
It's the same
I
thing
really
with
don't.
I think we activated Randy Gregory, and I'm like, why? Why? We
Yeah,
got this
so you
guy
can get
signed.
hurt down the
He
stretch.
signed, yeah,
What
he signed
the
for
hell?
like another 5 years. So let's deactivate him. Let him come back next year, perfectly healthy. We'll have Wilson back. We'll have a new head coach. This
Mhm.
season's over. Well,
Mhm.
at this point, all we're doing is we're just giving the Seahawks a higher pick.
Yeah,
You know,
that's-
so I mean that's all we're doing. So
Mhm.
who cares? They have a top 5 pick now, I guess, because number 2.
But
pick,
yeah,
I
I'm
think.
with you. The defense should carry you
But,
today.
Yeah.
And Rippon, Yeah, he's not a game changer or anything.
I
But
really wish we had some kind of rookie Mr. Irrelevant that we could try.
right,
I
that
don't
you
think we
could coach up.
I
That's
just
going
don't
to
think we
follow
do.
the game plan
So.
and do what that guy wants to do.
Ripman's been in the offense for, well, I guess this is a new offense, but I don't know. He's been there the entire season, so
Yeah.
he might do okay. But
What do you think,
and we got
Matt?
Murray.
What do you think?
I'm going Denver. And by the way, Noc, I like your avatar with the it looks like the neon light.
Yeah,
logo.
this is my background on my old laptop a long time ago, and I really liked it. So
I dig it, man. It's very cool. Yeah.
I thought it'd be bigger. I don't know why it just did a little circle, but I don't know.
No, that's just the way it is. That's how all the avatars show up like that, man. Yeah.
But seeing that way that logo's lit, I did want to mention back in May, I did get to go to Boulder, and I walked around a little bit of the inside of their stadium, and they have the Colorado Buffalo logo on the ceiling, and it has a light beaming through it, and it has a cool effect look to it. So when I took a picture of it, if I send it to anyone, it looks like a fake picture, but it's actually actual light that made the logo. But they've got a cool setup there at University of Colorado. But maybe think of that because of Denver and Noc's logo and everything.
Yeah.
But,
Well, I'm going to be keeping an eye on Colorado now with Dion there. So
yeah, Dion's going to coach the Buffaloes, man. That's going to be fun.
I'm definitely going to keep an eye on him next year because they're going to have a hard schedule. So.
This game today, it might be like a 10-7.
Yeah, it's going to be ugly. This game is going to be ugly. But whoever plays the best old man football is going to win this game right here.
But we got Latavius Murray, so I'm hoping a lot of run. We got Michael Boone as well, who's looked had flashes. So just run the ball, man. Run the damn ball.
Just run the damn ball. That's it. With a defense like you got, run the ball and kick field goals. You win the game.
Just
don't worry
make
about
any mistakes. We'll be good.
Just keep Jerry Judy from bumping any refs.
Yeah, right. $30,000 you got fined, not suspended, but he did get fined $30,000. I think it was $30,000.
Wow.
For that. Yeah.
Okay,
and then he went out to score 3 touchdowns. So whatever.
So we're on board with the Denver Broncos this week. All right. Let's see the next one. The New England Patriots going to see their old offensive coordinator. What's up?
This is, I didn't really think of that factor, honestly, when I made my pick, but I am going with the, I guess, upset Raiders.
You're going with the Raiders?
I am going with the Raiders. And the reason why is it's just the team itself. I didn't really factor in the Bill Belichick over McDaniels. So that I get it. But I like the team better than Patriots. I think the Raiders can score points and the Patriots not as much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going Patriots here.
Yeah,
I'm not that confident in this pick. I will say that. It just the Raiders has let me down, and I should go with the Patriots because when I pick the Patriots, they actually do win. But I'm going out on a limb on this one for sure.
Here's the thing. Bill Belichick knows everything Josh McDaniels knows. Yeah. Josh McDaniels doesn't know everything Bill Belichick knows.
No, he doesn't. No.
So I'm going to.
Yeah.
So I'm going based off the players. You guys are going off the coaches. So that's where
Devontae Adams may not catch a ball today.
Oh, he's going to get it. Stephon Gilmore's not there.
He may not catch a ball.
Stephon Gilmore's not there anymore.
I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. I got a feeling that he's going to shut that guy down and make somebody else beat him.
Belichick, his philosophy is always try to take away the number one guy.
The best thing you got away.
Try. Devontae Adams will always beat that.
Okay. All right.
He's like Calvin Johnson.
Okay.
You could triple team him. He'd still get the ball.
I hear you, man. I hear you.
And Derek Carr is just willing enough to throw it to him. I
will take the mentor over the student every time.
Now,
when it comes to Belichick.
Yeah, I get it. I understand.
Yep.
Like I said, I know I'm going on a limb. I'm also like a little bit below 500 this year, so I got to make some like strange picks to try to get back. So
yeah.
This is one of those in that category.
Okay, so Matt and I are with New England. Any other thoughts on this one, there, Matt?
Nope.
Yeah, it jumped right out at me. I was like, yeah, this is not happening today. Now we got the Tennessee Titans at the Los Angeles Chargers, and boys and girls.
This is just such an important game for both teams.
It is. And there's an interesting stat out there. Tennessee has not won a game against a winning record this year.
Mhm.
They have not won a game against a winning record. And who was it the Chargers beat last week? That a lot of people were picking against them, and they ended up beating them.
Hang on, I got
Who
you.
was that?
Looking it up right now. Week 14.
They won last week, and a lot of people were picking against them.
Oh my God! Stop loading the ads first and load the damn
Right?
Yeah, they did have a lot of doubters last week. But
Yes, they
one
did.
of them.
Oh, the Dolphins.
Yeah, and they beat the Dolphins.
Yeah,
yes.
they did.
Yeah.
You guys remember? I picked the Chargers, and you both were skeptical.
Yes.
We
yes,
didn't think
I
they'd
was.
be able to stop the offense. Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, Tua played terrible against the Chargers.
Yes, he did. But like I said, they never adjusted either. They kept trying to run the same offense against that man-to-man defense the entire game, and they never adjusted. They never did. So this is what I'm saying about the Chargers, though. There was another game earlier this month, in the last month, that they were picked against, and they ended up winning. They may have started to turn things around there in San Diego. Now, I don't think they're going to be world beaters just because they're talking about mental pygmies. Mr. Analytics running the team will screw them eventually, but I think they're starting to learn how to put some stuff together. And I'm sorry, guys. I know you're tired of me saying it. I think Herbert is the best young pocket passer out there. I think he's just something special.
Well,
So
either he or Burrow.
Yeah, Herbert Burrow, and the future of those guys going up against each other is going to be a lot of fun to watch, man, because they're going to meet up in the playoffs eventually, and it's going to be, that's going to be one of those great quarterback matchups over the next decade. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
And that Dolphins loss hurt them a lot more because if the Patriots win, I think they would actually swap because they have a better conference record. I don't know what their division. Between the two of them, it looks like.
Trust me, my wife is rooting for the Raiders big time today. Yeah.
But you have the Patriots at 7-6. You got the Titans. Titans are still ahead in their division, but they're 7-6.
Yeah.
You got the Los Angeles Chargers at 7-6, and the Jets at 7-6.
Now I love the Titans. I love their head coach. I think once he gets, I think it's about 2 years away from them being back to being a powerhouse. But I really think that they're not going to do anything with Ryan Tannehill pulling the trigger.
Right.
There.
And I'm excited about Malik Willis.
Yeah.
I'm very much looking forward to when he finally breaks out.
Yeah. The only thing is they're still in the hunt, so he's not going to get a chance until and let's hope that they
Derrick
start.
Henry hasn't. They haven't been able to get Derrick Henry going either. I don't know if it's the offensive
Well,
line or they're just loading the box. Or
they're loading the box and they're making Tannehill beat him, and we know Tannehill can't do it. He's going to give it to the other team. He's talented, but he's going to give it to the other team.
I'd really like to see Malik Willis this year, because if they get that RPO going, man, Malik Willis and
not
Henry,
going to see it.
It'd almost be like Vic and work done back in the day, or Robert Griffin and who was that rookie running back they had back then, just RPO with those two would be pretty darn good, I think.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I picked the Chargers in this one. I picked the home team. That is a glaring stat. If Tennessee can't beat a team with a winning record, this does not bode well.
I think they also got destroyed last year by the Jags. They're on the down. The Titans did, and the Chargers are on their way up. Now, that being said, that doesn't bode well for the Chargers.
No, it doesn't.
This is exactly the kind of game where Tennessee, the ones that are down and out or getting that way, would show up and win by 30 points, and the Chargers are snake bit. So
they've always been snake bit.
So it's I really think the Chargers are the one that have the advantage here, but I think this is set up so perfectly for the Titans to go ahead and grab this one. But I'm still going to go with the Chargers myself.
Yeah. What do you think, Matt?
I'm going to go Chargers here.
Yeah.
Yep. Feel like the Chargers got it.
Yeah. I like Herbert, man. I'm going to be pulling for this kid for a long time.
I'm getting a little annoyed with all these divisions, teams in my division getting young, good.
Right, getting young, good
It's getting annoying.
Yeah.
These franchise quarterbacks.
Sure it is, man.
need to stuff it. I
Oh
want them to be
man. Okay,
old
let's see.
and wrinkly and
Speaking
not
of
doing
young
anything.
talent, the other guy that went in that draft,
Oh man,
he's heading in against the GOAT.
this is why the Panthers have a shot.
This is why the Panthers have a shot. Yeah, I
Poor
think
Brady.
Tampa gets beat up today.
Ugh.
Yeah. Look,
Would
the
this
most
be Brady's
dangerous
first
thing in the
losing
world
record?
has happened, folks. The Bengals have started protecting Joe Burrow. That's dangerous.
If they lose this one and they lose one more game, would this be Tom Brady's first losing season ever?
Yeah, could be.
I'm not sure what I know his last year with New England wasn't great, but I think
But they made the
around
playoffs on
500.
that one, though.
They made the playoffs though
Yeah.
that season though. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it could be his first losing season, man. I don't think he's ever had one.
Obviously, they still have another chance if they lose this one.
Right.
But if they get to number 9, that'd be a losing season.
Yes, it would. They lose 2 more, and they could very well. We were looking at the schedule
They still have
last week.
they still have the Panthers, I think, one more time, and Panthers
They
are
still
going
got
to
the Panthers, and they've still got some tough teams down the stretch too. I'd have to look at it to see, but I don't have it in front of me. But we looked at this, and they've got the toughest road because they've been the division champ. And the Carolina Panthers have the easiest road.
I guess it's not as bad as we thought, but because they got the Cardinals, and they have the Falcons, and they have the Panthers before the Falcons. So they have a couple division games to come.
Okay. Well, I think they dumped this one.
I think that Panthers game is going to be the all important one. But yeah, then this game right here, and then the Panthers game in a couple weeks.
Mixon's back and doing damage. Chase is back and doing damage. And like I said, the most dangerous thing in the world for the entire AFC, they are starting to protect Joe Burrow. And because we know this guy can get sacked 9 times and win a football game.
It only took them a year and a half, but they finally are getting. They're finally getting somewhere.
Jesus, man! Wow, that game last week. Who was it? They were beating up there in Cincinnati. It was Miami, wasn't it? Wasn't it Miami they beat up last?
Cincinnati?
Maybe it was 2 weeks ago.
They beat Cleveland, but they beat 2 weeks ago. They beat the Chiefs. Before that, they beat.
It was the Chiefs. It was the Chiefs. They were in Cincinnati, and Joe was like, he wasn't pointing his back. He was going like this at the end of the game when they were kneeling it out, like, "Let me hear you." You know, that guy right there, man. He likes his cigars after wins, man. That's he does, dude.
Look at the schedule.
Yeah,
Tampa Bay this week. New England next week, Buffalo the week after for a primetime game, and then Baltimore the last game of the season. The Bengals could be number 1 at the end of the season. They need the Chiefs to lose one game. They need the Chiefs to lose one game, and they need to beat Buffalo. They could be the number 1 seed.
As they say, they control their own destiny.
Yeah, I believe they do. I'm sure there's some other factors in there, so I don't know if it's outright that way, but. They have a path to get to number 1, I think.
Yes, they do. Matt, what do you think of this one?
I'm going to have to go Bengals.
Yeah. Joe Cool, man. I'm telling you.
Brady's going to have to come up with some kind of magic, and it's possible. But he has weapons, but they just haven't been in sync this year.
Gronk is not walking through that door.
Yeah, right. He's praying for him, but watch if he did, and they went on a Super Bowl run. It'd be crazy.
Dude, no, don't even tease us with that shit. Please.
That would be hilarious.
Oh, man.
Oh my God. Okay, we're all on board with Cincinnati. Here we go.
And by the way,
I've said I won't be able to watch this whole game
with Brady. With them, if they end up under 500 this year. All that will do will provoke him to come back next year.
Oh my God, yeah.
Tampa or
why not? He doesn't have a wife to hold him back.
Yeah,
that's true. But he has Father Time.
The rumor is that he's thinking about going back to New England,
or just another team in general. Because his contract.
Imagine if he went to San Francisco next year.
Yeah, he really likes San Francisco.
He's from there.
He's from there, yeah.
Did you see all the footage of him?
Yeah.
After the game, he was signing the ball. The kid picked off on him and shit. And they were all just, he had a fun time talking to those dudes after the game. You can't
If
tell
that
me him and
happened-
Shanahan didn't talk while he was there.
If that happened, do you
Come
think
on, man.
Trey Lance would get traded?
I don't know.
Could
I
Tom
really don't know.
Brady Tim Tebow some guy the way Manning did?
Oh, man. I don't know.
Well, I think you still try to hold on to Trey Lance, or because Brady could be one and done. I don't know.
You know what I'd love to see? You know what I'd love to see? You guys are going to laugh, but I would love to see it. I'd love to see Kirk Cousins fail in the playoffs and him sign with the Vikings in the offseason.
That's not.
I watch him ride that team all the way to a fucking
Oh, man.
Super Bowl with a third team. That would be hilarious. I would laugh my ass off if that happened.
What you want is for McDaniels and Kirk Cousins to be together and lose every week.
Yes, that would be awesome. Kirk Cousins,
would go to
the quarterback
Raiders.
of the Raiders, and they lose to Denver twice on their way to a 1-16 season. Yes,
Because the Raiders can't move on from McDaniels right now.
No, they can't. They can't afford it.
So poor.
Not with the new
they're-
stadium and shit.
oh,
They can't
man.
afford it. They cannot
that was
afford it. They can't
hilarious.
buy him out. Yeah, not unless they want the trainer to be the head coach. Yeah, they can't do it.
I
There's
still
no
do a
way.
better job.
All right, moving on, boys and girls. From our
Yeah.
fantasy booking, like we're wrestling fans.
Right.
Here we go with the New York Giants against the Washington Redskins tonight, live on NBC.
Now, is Carson Wentz the backup?
Yeah, he
I know
is.
he's been
It's
activated.
Tyler Heineke all the way
Okay,
right now.
okay.
Yeah,
Until he starts losing.
they'd be morons if they started Wentz. Oh my God, that guy's horrible. But anyway, yeah, I think the proof's in the pudding. How many have they dumped in a row now? The Giants? It's like 2 or 3.
I think they were 6-2 at one point.
Yeah.
6-2.
And now all of a sudden a tie and 3 losses later. And
Mhm.
And Washington doesn't know how to lose a game all of a sudden. So I think that trend continues. I think they stay on the same trajectories. And,
I really felt like this is a continuation of 2 weeks ago. Like to me, it felt like the way they were playing that game. They were like, all right, let's break for a week.
Yep.
And then circle back around, and we're going
do
to
the
finish
same
this in the second game.
Yep.
That's how I felt about that tie. I felt like it was appropriate, and that they're like, we were going to come back. We're going to revisit this in 2 weeks. Unfortunately for the Giants, they got destroyed by the Eagles, and Washington got to enjoy that and watch it at home from their couch and comfort.
Yes.
And so Washington is rested. They got confidence. They still don't have Chase Young, who's apparently never going to come back again. And they seem to be better off.
They're at home, so
And
check that box.
Man, their home field advantage is not completely in existence, but they're winning, so there might be more people that show up.
Yeah.
So yeah, just
what's
get
the
run
talk
game
in your
going.
area? I know that's all you hear 24/7 is Baltimore
Yeah,
Ravens and
so,
Washington Redskins. So
it's unfortunate I won't be able to watch this whole game, so I'll try to watch the half and then watch the other before the drive into work, because I'll be hearing it on the sports radio for sure.
Mhm.
Victory Monday or loser Monday or whatever.
Pissed off, yelling at everybody Monday. Yeah.
But no, both these teams, they're number 6 and 7 right now in the playoff hunt, in the seeds, and whoever gets knocked out kind of leaves the door open for the Lions, if the Lions can pull it out. So this is a massive game for these guys, both of these.
Yes, it is. Playoff atmosphere.
They're playing for wild card right now.
They are playing to stay in the dance. Yep.
They're out of the division race for sure. They're by 12 wins in the Eagles.
Oh yeah, Dallas and Philly have pulled away from them.
So they are playing for a wild card spot. But luckily, they both hold 2 of the spots, so one of them's going to get it.
I just think Washington. What do you think, Matt?
Well, in the style of your brother Joe, I'll go ahead and say Commandos.
That's right. Commandos. You notice we don't use commander, because how can you have an entire team of bosses? No, they're the commandos. Damn it.
Now, I'm going to go to the Commanders as well in this one. I think if they run the ball and keep it protected, they can just win it.
I just think the Giants had a great run. We talked about it earlier this year, Noc, before Matt came on board. As long as Saquon is doing his thing. They're going to keep winning, right? Well, teams have started much like Henry and the Titans. They're loading the box and they're making Daniel Jones beat them. And it's
Now,
been proven that guy can't do it.
the one
So,
factor is that the Washington really needs to do is they need to keep a spy, because Daniel Jones runs all over them.
yes, he does. He does have a history of legging it
So
out
they
against them.
really
Yes, he
need to
does.
keep an eye on that, because that's what's going to kill them.
Yeah.
In this game, if they don't keep an eye on Daniel Jones and let him
I'm
run.
pulling Commandos, man. I'm pulling
But
Commandos.
yeah, I'm going Commanders.
Okay, and then we got Monday night. We got
Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield heads into Green Bay. What's up? Yes. Boomer Sooner.
I got.
Yeah.
I think I'm alone in this one, but I am going Rams all the way.
Oh, you are not alone, sir. I
At
picked
least
him.
in my group. In my group, I'm alone.
I picked
Everyone's
him.
picking Packers.
Baker has been humbled. Baker
He has been found
in this
wanting,
offense, he's going to flourish.
and he
man.
found it.
He is going to flourish. I mean, I really think, in this offense, he's going to do well. It took him a little bit to shake off a little bit of the rust last week, but
Well, his first pass was a 30-yarder.
well, what I'm saying is, the fourth quarter he had, they couldn't stop him, man. And that's the kind of ball that I know he can play. I think, my brother said it best, really, when he first got in the league and he was doing those, all those, at home commercials with the stadium and everything with the Browns. He said, man, he's too busy making commercials. He needs to get playing football. And I said, yeah, he could be a little distracted. But look, they did him so bad in Cleveland. I mean, he played the entire year last year hurt. He was hurt, and he sold out and played for that team. And they went out and got a notorious grouper to take his place. And, all his efforts were for nothing. And I think that really, first of all, I think that really hurt him when he went into Carolina. Mentally, I'm sure he was like, damn, what have I got to do to prove myself to a team? And he didn't have a good run there. I don't know. Of course, I don't get to watch Carolina that much, so I don't know if it was a chemistry thing or what, but my gosh, I believe there was a story last week when he had to come off the bench for Noel that during the draft process, he actually sat on a plane with McVay and they talked shop on a plane. And McVay really thought about drafting him at the time instead of Goff. And apparently there's some chemistry there because he did really well last week. And I think that's going to continue. Myself, I picked the Rams in this one. Look, Green Bay, we've watched them this year. Without Devontae Adams, he doesn't have the chemistry with these guys he's got. The only guy he's got chemistry with is Cobb. And
Watson has definitely come about.
Yeah, he's come around. Yeah. And Lazard's playing okay.
But crazy amount of touchdowns in the last couple of games.
But Aaron Rodgers likes to call a lot of shit on the fly, and they don't have the communication down yet. They still don't. So, and now, to be fair, the Rams defense is the walking wounded, but you know what? Aaron Rodgers' nemesis in the playoffs is quarterback in the defense. Bobby Wagner is on that defense. He knows how to stop Aaron Rodgers. He's been doing it his whole career. I mean, how many times did the Seahawks, when they were at the height of their powers, knock the Packers out of the playoffs?
And you're going to see Watson all over, Jalen Ramsey all over Watson.
Yep.
And take away that main target. And Rodgers can't throw his wide receivers. He's useless.
Mm-hmm.
All his bad games are always because he can't get to his wide receivers.
Yep.
And it's happened so many times in the past where he gets just destroyed because he can't get to his wide receivers. He's not going to outrun anybody. Not really. He does a couple times. But
he's an old man. He's not running anymore.
So
he does it when the Red Sea parts.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
He does it just to embarrass the defense is what he does it for. Yeah. So he's not going to put himself on the line.
If Ramsey can cover Watson and take away his biggest weapon, then that's it. That's it.
What do you think about this matchup there, Matt?
I'm going to go Packers. I just feel like,
the Lambeau Field advantage is too much.
Yep.
for a banged up football team, and they are banged up. I mean,
Yeah.
the Rams are the
this
walking
really
wounded.
could be just a crapshoot, but it's
Yeah.
I'm feeling the Baker Mayfield thing.
I do. I am too.
It is definitely influencing my decision here.
If nothing else, I'm rooting for my boy. I mean, I'm a Sooner fan, and Hurts I never trusted because he came from Bama, and I can't stand them. But he's playing.
I just think it's going to be
fantastic.
It's
but
gonna
Kyler
be so
Murray,
much...
I've never liked that mental pygmy. But Baker is the guy I've always loved, man.
It's going to be such so much intrigue if Baker can find a way to win out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's going to do anything for this season, but it's going to create intrigue in the offseason. Where's he going to go?
Who's going to sign him, right? Because they picked him up off the waiver wire, and he had a 1-year deal with the Panthers. So somebody's going to pay the man. If he wins out, yeah, somebody's going to pay him in the offseason.
Yeah, I wonder who. It's crazy.
Don't you think, Matt? Don't you think somebody's going to pay him in the offseason?
Well, it'll depend on what he does the rest of this season, but
that's what I'm saying. If he wins out,
he'll have an opportunity somewhere next year.
Joe, what do you think about the Patriots picking him up?
Oh, Jesus, could you imagine? Oh, my wife would be so mad. Don't say that, dude. Oh, God, I'd have to buy another Patriots jersey and not be able to wear it until Miami's mathematically eliminated from the playoffs again. I'd be right back to that boat. Have I ever told you that, Matt?
I don't think so.
My wife, the Royal Fox, is a huge Miami Dolphins fan. My dad is from Boston. They're my second team. The Seahawks are my number one team, but my second team, I like my dad, and I don't want to be disowned, so I root for the Patriots in the AFC, right? I have a Tom Brady Super Bowl 38 jersey that I am not allowed to wear. I am not allowed to root for the Patriots because I have a wife that watches football and enjoys it, right? Something every man wishes they had, right? So I pull for her team until they're mathematically eliminated. And then I put on my Patriots shit.
So the Dolphins are your AFC team until they're eliminated.
And then the Patriots stuff.
Yeah, because I'm just kind of looking through here, and I'm trying to think of places where else maybe the Falcons.
There's a lot of teams need a
maybe
quarterback,
the Saints.
Bro.
I don't know. I'm kind of looking around and looking at like ones that have young quarterbacks or ones that have franchises. There's not that many.
Atlanta.
Because you get the Panthers.
Jets.
Been there.
Think about it. The Jets could be looking for one.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a bunch of teams that need quarterbacks, dude.
Not as many as I think, though, as you think.
The Houston Texans.
But the Texans aren't going to get it. They're going to draft.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, there's a lot of teams that need quarterbacks. No.
That are realistically going to.
You know what? If you want to see Baker Mayfield get a shot at a Super Bowl, watch him sign with the Indianapolis Colts in the offseason. Watch what would happen then. Because they've got a defense and they got a running game. All they're missing is a quarterback.
Their defense has been not as great this year, and they do not have a run game.
Yeah,
they do not have a run game anymore.
They used to.
They did last year.
Taylor was a beast last year. I don't know what the hell happened. Their line must have got decimated.
He's been hurt too.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the Sunday nighter. Now, do we have Saturday games next week?
Thursday and Saturday, I believe.
Thursday and Saturday. Okay, hang on. Let me pop this here. And let's get to finding those games real fast. Just take me a second here. Let me get.
I got them on my side if you want to put me.
Okay, cool. If you got them, let me pop you up there then. Boom.
I did have them.
Let's see.
Why didn't you switch?
You've got the thing you need for it though. Okay, so we're starting Thursday off with
Jaguars
at the Jets.
Wow.
Ooh, man, depending on today's results, that could be a big game.
A massive one, yeah.
Yeah, because I think, you picked the Jags in an upset.
Yes.
And we all
picked the Lions.
all picked Detroit against the Jets, didn't we?
Yeah. So that's a 6-8 versus a 7-7.
Yeah. If it pans out that way.
Right.
Even if it doesn't, it'd be a 5-9.
Well, Jags would pretty much just turn into spoilers.
Yeah. And those teams are dangerous down the stretch, man. They are. They just are. I mean, as much as you want to say bad things about losing football teams, they're still professionals at the end of the day, and they're playing for a paycheck, whether it be next year, And so,
I think the Jags will probably take that game again. It's hard to know, more than a week out, or more than a game out. But I think the Jags would have a good shot there.
if Trevor Lawrence is
Oh,
playing.
man.
Yeah,
And
if
look
he
at
doesn't
this.
get
So
knocked out.
Falcons and the Ravens. That's a crazy one. The Falcons still, still going for a spy, depending on this week too. But the Ravens are hurt, and I don't know if Lamar Jackson will be out for this game or not. I don't know how far he is to coming back. But the
They've
Ravens
got
need to keep winning.
5 games in the 1 o'clock
Oh no, they have a
window.
lot of games.
Wow.
This Saturday is basically a Sunday.
That's
There's only 3
Really?
games on Sunday.
Okay.
There's only 3 games on
Okay.
Sunday.
Oh, okay. It must
This
be
is the start.
because of the
This is the start of the
NBA
yeah.
and Christmas Day and yeah.
Yeah,
Well, let me ask you
this is New
something
Year.
then,
This
guys.
is Christmas Eve right here.
Well,
This is
let me
Saturday,
ask you.
Christmas Eve.
Let me ask you something then, guys. Do we need to move the time of next week's show
might have
to
to.
Saturday morning at 10?
We might have to.
I think that'd be a better bet. I think.
I won't have as big
If
as
we've
a-
got a full slate
I
on
won't
Saturday,
have, I
and
won't
only
have
a
as
few
big
on
as
Sunday.
of a scouting report, but yeah, other than that,
Well, that's fine. That's fine. But I think that's what we need to do. Instead of talk about all these today,
yeah,
because
I think
we're
so.
up against the
'Cause
hour
otherwise,
here.
pretty much our Sunday's game would be like highlights and
Yeah,
talking
exactly.
about it, and then discussing
Yeah.
3 games.
Let's
that
do that. Let's
really
do that.
aren't that crazy
And
of
then,
games to begin with.
Time permitting, we could talk about any college games that are going to be happening Saturday as well.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. And like you
Just
pointed
some
out,
bowl
you'll
games.
have a
There's not
few
lot
games to
going on,
cover
so
in the
yeah.
scouting report because they got bowl games every day up
Yeah.
until
And then we'll
New
have the
Year, so.
Thursday night game as well to
Yep.
discuss. So.
All right. Well, let's plan on doing that then, man. That
That
sounds
first
good.
game, the Falcons Ravens, that's going to be for the birds.
my
Sorry.
wife calls that Angry Birds. She calls
Yeah.
it Angry Bird games when we play Arizona twice a year. It's Angry Birds. Yeah, a lot of Angry Bird games going on out there. So final thoughts about this week. What do you? Does anything stand out as far as we had a lot of mismatches, but I really think the game of the day is going to be that Detroit Jets game, man.
I was thinking the same thing, just in terms of
It really looks
intrigue.
like that's going to be fun, man. And I'm looking forward to the Rams game, the Rams Packers game on Monday night.
Yeah.
And the bad thing is, I don't have ESPN. I don't have the communist.
I
News
feel
Network.
like our biggest
So.
game of the week was last night with the Dolphins and the Bills.
Yeah, I think
we
that
kinda
was the
already had
biggest
our game of the
matchup
week.
as far as the heavy hitters going into the playoffs. Yeah, for sure.
The other one that could, I do think that Giants and Commanders is a good primetime game.
Yeah, that's going to be a good
and
one.
then,
I'm going to
and
enjoy
then the
that one.
Titans and the Chargers. They are 2 playoff teams that are going at it. So,
And let's not
the Titans
discount.
going down.
I mean, not to be an NFL shill or anything, but let's not discount Joe Cool versus the GOAT. That's going to be Tom Brady's going to want to show up in that one.
I think that one's just been kind of hurt by how bad the Buccaneers have been this year.
Yeah,
so
they
it's
are
not as
playing
highlighted.
bad.
But it is a evening game, so
Yeah.
I'll either get to see that one or the Chargers and Titans. So as far as the local game goes, but I'll have Red Zone going as well.
Well, boys and girls, we're going to make that a wrap for this week on week 15 here in the NFL. I hope you guys enjoy your football this week. I hope you enjoy the holidays. We're going to be here Saturday at 10 o'clock next week for the pregame party. We've decided we're going to do it on Saturday because that's when all the games are happening. We'll have reports on the bowl games between now and then, and we'll get into week 16, that Christmas Eve. And of course, you can watch me tonight. I think Comics Division has a member stream. I'll be on that one later. I'm supposed to be on Pop Culture Minefield's wrestling show this afternoon at 1, but not going to make it to that one. Family things, the holidays. We got family in, and we're going to be visiting today. So I will be next on probably Comics Division's member stream, and then Monday night on Twitch at 8 p.m. I will continue my walkthrough of The Force Unleashed on Twitch. Papa Joe Gamer up after dark. 3 hours of video gaming, cocktails, and fails. And then this week on State of the Atmosphere, we're definitely going to get to the Twitter files. We've been avoiding it for 2 weeks. We're going to get into that, plus some other things. I was thinking about that show this week, and I've got a couple of ideas. I will let you guys know here probably by Monday what's going to be on the show. And who knows who will show up. Matt, Noc, a couple of my other friends. You never know. If they've got time, they'll come by and see me, and we'll talk about everything that's going on and whatever you guys in the chat want to talk about. And that's 5:30 on Wednesday night, Central, and 6:30 Eastern. And then, of course, the Brothers Hack the Matrix is on hiatus. You'll see us again in the new year. And Sketching of the Matrix, listen to me. Sketching the Privateer comes back after the new year, too. So, for my fellow football fanatics, Knoxter, and the best backup quarterback in the league, Small Time Republic, Matt, I want to say thank you for watching, guys. And until we see you again, keep on keeping on. God bless.